Welcome back to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. I took a brief little hiatus during Season 55 for releasing videos. I played all my matches, but I got a little busy. So over the next couple days, we're going to do a series of catch-up videos showing that final week and doing a couple roster videos. Now, for this Grand Arena match, I am recording over the footage. I didn't record any live audio. I just couldn't fit it into my day. But for the next couple videos, I did record the footage. We just had to delay them as I didn't have the time to do my usual amount of editing. With Season 55 in general, we're not going to do any recap of the previous matches. I think these things are too late to really be too interesting, but what we were seeing was a couple rough weeks to start, and then I found my footing midway through the Grand Arena, adjusting my strategy, and then finishing off the season with a winning record. We finished strong here, and that's what we're going to see with these series of videos. Looking at the bracket, I don't really remember this match at all. My opponent is Methuselah Retirement Home. GP wise, he's about 700k more than me, 11.9 million. Very strong on Zetas. He's second in the bracket with Amis. No, third in the bracket with Amis, although some of these numbers have changed since the original record. Like I think I was at 35 or 36 during the lock-in of this match. I am recording this after the fact after all. The rest of the players here, kind of high 20s, low 30s is what we're seeing in terms of GLs. My opponent's at 8 GL, and 3 of the players in the bracket were not at 8 GLs. Everybody else was. 2 of us with 6 GLs. The relic distribution and relic counts on Methuselah were quite strong. You can see the tier total here. We're going to pay more attention to this number moving forward. He's at 1326. That's the highest in the bracket. So my opponent has great relics for the bracket. We've seen higher numbers than this in the past, but this is extremely good, and we see that with the relic distribution with that. Looks like tier 5 we're basically even, tier 3 we're basically even, tier 7 though, he's got practically 30 more tier 7s than me. He's got more tier 8s, but it's really the tier 7 counts that is just completely dwarfing me. And then with the rest of the bracket, the opponents are fine, but we're kind of keeping pace with everybody. Methuselah here, he's definitely the better account in this bracket. Mod-wise, quite strong, but we're beating him. And I am among the top accounts in the bracket, but I'm not the best. We actually are going to face accounts later during this week with stronger mods. I think next round actually will be facing opponent Marcus Cloud. He's not on screen right now. He had the best mods of the bracket. Datacrons, this number you can't really trust because this has been adjusted since lock-in, but I'm usually going to be taking Datacrons most seriously. My opponent was taking them seriously though. His GLs, we're looking at like Relic 8s on most everyone. There's a few Relic 7s, Omicron portion. He's got a solid Melgus, triple Ami. Then we got our Radis, Iden, Starkiller, triple Ami, Dash, Wampa, Savage, Treya. Only a single Ami on Afra, not that matters in 3v3. Mods are a little slow on Afra as well. We're looking at Qui-Gon, Swallow. Nothing on Zori, but that one's not mandatory. And then Third Sisters looks pretty good, triple Ami, but you can see a lot of characters at that triple Ami level. His Malicos is okay. And then you can see everyone has Jar Jar now, but at lock-in, I don't think anybody had Jar Jar. But that's interesting to see. And then Cadme, similar deal. I am recording this after I did a roster video, so I didn't even have a Relic 5 Cadme at this point. There's been a few changes. Then the rest of this looks pretty good, not really worth drawing specific attention to. And I think we're going to be skipping modding because I don't think I recorded footage of that at the time. So jumping into the footage, oh, maybe we did do the mods. It looks like we did record this footage. It's because I was being smart. And in this case, we've got 32 characters. His Grandmaster Yoda is his last character modded at 300 speed. So this is what we're talking about, where this guy's got good mods, but they're not that great. He actually has pretty solid counts. But I'm at like 42 characters, so I've got like 10 characters on him. You can see he attacked first. I don't think it was done. We held him up with the Tuscans here in the top territory. This territory down here, we got Dash Han with some sort of Jar Jar Kron, just for the stats, getting a hold. And I don't recall if he was finished. He may have returned later on. So with these, you see, we see Cadme, there's a Ray Swallow, it's got a CLS, then we got Jabba, Radis, we got Phasma, like a pretty weak defense, and that's what's really going to be helping me out. I don't think this came down to banners, but you can see, I mean, it means we're going to have a decent attack, but it means he's going to crush my defense as well, because he's going to have everything for offense, so this doesn't necessarily mean anything. And jump into the larger footage. I think we're going to accelerate the speed of the battles in a moment. And with this one, just going with Star Killer versus the Ray Swallow. Now we could use an alternate option like Seer Junda with Malicos and Star Killer, but I like the flexibility that this gives me, and it's something that over the earlier weeks of this Grand Arena, I decided I needed. Because I have fewer GLs, because I don't have like SLKR for instance, the flexibility of having the Seer Malicos counter for Third Sister was invaluable to me. When I tried to play without it, it was risky. Now that the Ray Kron or the Resistance Krons are gone, this is worth the risk, even though sometimes it will fail. But in this case, no issues. Now, just waiting now for the damage immunity to come off. And that's also, in some cases with these Ray Swallow teams, if they're modded poorly, can make them a little harder. Now, we might go the Cadme route. It looks like we're heading down towards Jabba. But with this weaker defense, probably means we're going to go JMK. Yeah. And we don't need to do anything fancy like a Padme Kron or anything. We can just do a standard JMK counter. And here, reset cooldowns on Cat. Take out Chrysanthemum first. Now self-select JMK to charge up that alt. We can't get any assists anyway. And now we're working on trying to eliminate Bosch before Chrysanthemum Tots. And if he does, it's not a big deal, but that's the goal. Don't get distracted. We're just still charging the alt, even though I'm tempted right now. Like you see me hovering. But I decline. I decide to stay focused, and this was ultimately the right call. I decided to keep GK alive. At least I think. Maybe I don't remember these matches at all, so maybe some of this stuff would have gone poorly. Throw an armor shred over there. Now we reset, or not reset the cooldowns. Now we just hit the alt on JMK, and now we're focusing on Jabba. Call an assist, attacking Jabba. We have plenty of time to eliminate Jabba before the ultimate charge is over. And there we go. Just get off the keyboard. Why do you always want to do that? Yeah, this was easy and straightforward. I don't remember how scary this match was. We did have a couple scary matches during this final week. Because really what I needed this final week is I needed to go 3-0. That was my goal. Now, looking at this, we're going with Cadme because Cadme is like the next toughest team. I believe we do a Bane counter, which is interesting, but I think this more is speaking to how I'm quite confident that my opponent has a pretty soft defense, which is allowing me to make these kinds of choices, where otherwise maybe we don't go Bane, as I might want to save Bane for like a Leia. And I'm basically making the assumption that there is no lay on the back wall. And I think based on my opponent's history, that was a safe bet, looking at everything else that was going on. But without clearing the top territory or the bottom territory, a little bit of risk here. I'm betting that the history is correct. We're seeing a whole lot more of this. I think we're a season away from another Datacron set. Okay. Oh, I guess I have the Jar Jar Cron now. Because I did prepare the Jar Jar Cron ahead of time in the chance that the event came back. So we'll get a season out of the Jar Jar Cron, which is going to be great. This is why I'm always saying, even if you don't have a team, build out those crons in advance. Just in case. There's no harm carrying an extra cron, even if you don't use it. Now just making choices. Is this the match where I try to do a bunch of solos? One of these matches this week, I don't think it's this one. I think it might be the next one. I tried to do a bunch of solos. It might be this one. Because this defense is weak enough where that's a consideration. Alright, we're doing Jedi Knight Revan here. Because I don't expect to use them anywhere else. I don't need to use something stronger. Had we had Bane, we could have considered Bane here. In a moment, we'll probably mark the TIE Fighter pilot. Because while this was going, I just realized we were doing like no damage to the Stormtrooper. So I decided to take over and shift our focus. Because really, I have no idea what these First Order crowns do. Since they're not something that I really use, and we didn't really go up against, so it wasn't really something I needed to consider, because I never faced an SLKR. Those were all on offense. We faced a couple on defense, like other First Order crons, but they weren't anything like the Resistance crons in terms of causing problems, at least the ones that I faced. But you're just marking and doing work. Okay, gone. Now next up, what did we do? We got a Radis, a Tuskens. Alright, looks like we're doing gas Tuskens. I vaguely remember this being more of a pain than I wanted. We'll see if that is the case. Next, we get stuck behind these taunts, and I'm kind of relying on AoEs to take out Chieftain and Warrior. But we don't have to worry about the Raider coming back. Okay, and I see, now he's there. I'm talking about the other Raider, not this one. This is the summon. I mean, Raider Prime. Are we doing AoE, drop an armor shred? And it's really like the counters are doing the work. AoEs and counters. And now he doesn't come back. I think that might be part of the brokenness of this cron, but whatever. And we move on. Now we got a Qui-Gon and a Radis. Do I Sith trio this? Or maybe we do something else. Nope, Sith trio. Oh, not Sith trio. Darth Revan, okay. Yeah, I did this a few times. It's part of the reason they're off of defense. It's for Radis and for Dark Trooper Moff Gideon is why I took Darth Revan off of defense. It's just the death mark that he lands really useful up against those two teams. And Darth Revan wasn't doing anything on defense anyway. Not when I had pulled him away from Melgus, and I was hoping to trip up my opponents, and that did work for a few months. It just doesn't do anything anymore. Because our rosters are different. We have enough weapons now where that strategy and trick doesn't work. All right, now I'm doing Qui-Gon, but I got Qui-Gon Kelleran. Qui-Gon Kelleran is just an awesome mirror-ish. It's not a true mirror, but it is far superior to just a standard Qui-Gon. And without the Datacron, I don't think we should be doing Kelleran lead anymore. Now we got a Lord Vader here on the back wall. I don't recall if I was anticipating that or not, but I believe we're going to do Baudelaire. And I had been using Sabine, because I have the Sabine Cron. It's a little risky, but I won every time with it. And with the Sabine Cron, every time they take a turn, she takes a turn. Which is really good at just interrupting things. And it makes me wonder in 5v5 if I'm going to be using Sabine with Mando Bo or with a Krux squad. Probably still a Krux squad, but it's then raising questions. Now that I added the relic to Sabine for the Datacron purposes, I'm now one relic away from having 5 Phoenix at relics. When I'm one relic away from a squad, that's when I start thinking, should I do the relic? Because I'm 2 relics away, 3 relics away. I'm not dropping relics on the squad. It's why like my Saw squad is undeveloped. It's why like I don't have a Dash Smuggler squad, because that's just a lot of luxury relics. Okay, we're fine. See, with Grogu, I probably wouldn't have lost anybody. But I did really enjoy what Sabine was bringing. You'll see it in these other matches as well, and I'm fine. I usually didn't lose Sabine. Now we got Starkiller. This is going to be Sith Eternal Emperor situation. Just your classic Sith Eternal Emperor. Just throwing on any Kron. Taking those hits. Okay. Now Alton, we're done. There's nothing to talk about here. Boom. Auto. And we'll do one a day. So right now it's Saturday. Sunday we're going to knock out the second match of this final week. And then Monday will be the third match of the final week. So that we have these done prior to season 56 starting. Now Traya here, what do we do? Oh, okay, I'm using Traya. So Traya up against Boss Nass. forgot I did this. Alright, we're gonna isolate boss. This is something that I've been talking about in other matches when I was doing my own testing. I really feel like if you don't have Jar Jar, you should have Phalanx in 3v3. Just let me fix this camera. Because I think the taunt is pretty invaluable. Because otherwise, like you can see, I can just completely focus down on the shield generator like it's nothing. And had there been a Phalanx, we'd be fine because we have dispels and stuff, but it'd be a little bit more annoying. It would have taken a little bit longer. It looks like this is one of those days where the camera doesn't want to cooperate. Alright, now we got a Fifth Brother and an Iden. Like, this stuff is nothing. It looks like we're not doing a bunch of solos this match. It's probably... I don't know if it's the next one, but one of these next two, I try to do a bunch of solos, and it gets... It was good. I don't want to spoil that one. We're not going to talk about it. But one of the things, it wasn't one of those cheapo solos. Like when I broke my solo record, that was on a bunch of cheapo solos against a trash defense. The defense that we go up in one of these videos is a good defense. It just happened to be a defense that is vulnerable to solos. So it's a very interesting one. I didn't like break my record or anything. I think we got maybe 6 or 7 solos. I think my record was 10. We fully... No, it wasn't 10. I think we fully soloed a defense. I just can't remember if it was 5v5 or 3v3. Because that would affect how many teams it was. I think it was 12, so it must have been 5v5. Definitely wasn't 15. Alright, what do we got here? Yeah, I think we've now transitioned into just overpowering. You know what? It makes sense that we didn't solo, because I was busy and on deadline, so I was not trying to think about this match too much. So I think we went the route of just overpower everything. And you know, we'll put the results in after this. We'll talk through how my opponent played things, because he did return to attack more. And actually, you know what? I think this was a close one, actually. And we gotta fix this camera again. Alright, so we're doing Jedi Knight Luke lead with Cal to take out Darth Revan. Cal's gonna be my solution to Savage. You can see we very much need that instant defeat because Savage just takes those hits. Next turn we'll eliminate Savage. Boom. And then it's basically not even an auto, just one hit. Now with this one, okay, I got a Padme Cron, so with this we're just going to be able to overpower. There's nothing to talk about with these. A few hits. You know what I think we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about the Doctor Doom thing. Because I think while this match was going on was when Comic-Con was going on, which I did not go down for. I usually avoid downtown while Comic-Con is happening. I did go a couple times in the past, and it is okay. Depends what you're looking for out of those things. I'm not a person who wants to sit, like, wait in lines to get inside the halls. That's not something I'm doing. Just walking around, grabbing freebies, that's all fun. But after, what was Cadme? Okay, so with the Doctor Doom thing, one of the things I've been a little surprised by is everybody taking it at face value. I don't want to talk about it too much because I think people might not want things to be spoiled, but you know what? Let's just hold it. My basic feeling is I think it's lame, but I also don't think they've actually casted Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. I think this is going to be a fake out type of thing for a movie, and we'll get a different Doctor Doom. And I really actually hope they get Mads Mikkelsen to do it, because he's perfect for it. Pedro Pascal and him are close enough in age where you can just fudge it. Next, they actually might be very close in age. I don't know how old they are. I don't care that he's already been in the MCU, because I don't even know what the name of the character is he played. He was a terrible character. It was a complete waste of his skills and the quality of actor he is. He deserves to be Doctor Doom. That's what I want to see. And I don't believe... here's the basic idea. There is no way that Robert Downey Jr. has just committed to another 10 years of Marvel movies. No way. He absolutely could have committed to just doing one movie and having some fun stuff. I'm a little concerned they've crammed too much into this movie, because there's a lot if you look at the casting decisions. But the casting's also really good. There's a lot of really high quality actors. So I forget who did this script. It does seem like Marvel is actually taking the time to actually write scripts again, which hopefully means, I really hope Disney understands that they need to stop messing this stuff up by, the Marvel method of, what you can see the disaster that has been the Blade film, where there has been no script. There's been 2 directors who have quit now. That movie's not happening. That movie's dead. So I hope Marvel's learned the lesson that they got to stop filming things like this. All right, you can see with the Chimera counter has failed. This complicates things for me, because yes, we've done well, but now we're dropping banners. I've also changed. Did I change my defense this? No, we still have profundity. So I have changed my strategy now where profundity is on defense. I forget if I did that for 2 matches or 1 match. It does make things a little bit more risky on my end, but it gives me a slightly stronger defense and challenges my opponents to really know their counters, much more than having Malevolence on defense right now. All right. Yeah, having to clean up the Leviathan with my profundity is unfortunate. I didn't want to risk anything else, because there was enough ships that survived, at least quality ships that survived, that I've done it in the past trying to use other fleets to use a cheaper cleanup, and I've paid for it. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure we got through it. And the rest of these fleets aren't super difficult, but we are getting a little shallower with my options. So Negotiator here, this is going to be fine. The Radis is what I'm worried about. because he's got a good Radis and I'm out of good fleets. Let me fix this camera again. We are going to improve the quality of this camera at some point, so I don't have to deactivate it in order for it to refocus, because that's driving me nuts, and I'm sure you guys too. Alright, we get a couple hits in, boom. I'll finish this off in a moment. Now here, he's got a much better Radis than I do. He's got relics on the pilots. I don't. You can see I don't have good options here. So what I'm going to do, I've done this in the past, is I'm going to do a sacrifice fleet up against his Radis, because it's going to mess up his cooldowns. And then I know I can clean up his Radis with my own Radis afterwards. It's just a question of how many attempts it's going to take me. But this way, either he gets to his ultimate and he loses his capital ship, or even if his capital ship survives, his cooldowns are messed up and I can take him out. I forget how long it takes. The only thing that's happening now that didn't happen when I used to do this is I've got higher gear on all these pilots now, so my pilots aren't going down quickly like they used to. They just be like one shot and they're out. But these days, most every pilot has some utility. Like Jedi Consular is kind of the only one these days that doesn't really. Maybe turns into an Ahsoka requirement. Now they went down pretty quickly, so that's good. Now I am doing my Holdo counter. I don't think you should be having Poe on the front lines. I think he's a poor option. I think the Resistance X-Wing does a much better job. It just has a few things that it does a little bit better. And then I think Poe is just very good coming off the bench with the Afterburner. So we bring out the comeuppance, and we blow it up. And now I'm going to AoE. Boom. And now he's just down to Poe. He'll bring out his comeuppance, take out my tank. Oh, he didn't take out my tank. And we're good. We have the alt if we need to use it. Oh no, not quite. He'll be gone before we get to the alt. Or he should. Maybe not now, now that we got two ships. And there we go, we're done. And that is a full clear, and we are at 2015 banners. And my opponent did return to finish clearing, so I'll show you how that went. So with this match, it went down to 3 banners. We got very lucky here. My defense did a little bit more work. That hold, that really made things a ton closer. If we would have just been able to get the RNG we needed to beat his Leviathan, we would have been much better off. But he tried to Wampa solo my dash. This is the cron that I had on here. None of this is mattering except for the stats. The stats were enough to take down his Wampa. I don't know the modding here. Let's see, used Bane to clean that up? That's interesting. He probably didn't get held up too much more than that. Hunter here, going down to the Tuscans. That's kind of interesting. I'm kind of impressed with that result. And then the rest of this, you can see just one shot, no problems, which I would have expected with the amount of firepower he had on offense. But who was stripping banners? Because you can see 55, 55s, got 54 here up against the Gungans with fleets. He did fine with fleet. Low banners up against the Leviathan. That helped out a bit. 30, well, that was a second attempt up against the Tuscans. You can just see everybody was doing a little bit of work. using the Leia mirror. That definitely helped a good amount. But overall, we get pretty lucky. So we will wrap it up there. There's nothing to really point to because things have been delayed. We will have roster videos coming out. We did one from mid-July, right around July 15th. That one I put up just a few hours before this one. After this next set of Grand Arena videos, we will do the one at the end of July before we start season 56. But thank you for watching. Be excellent to each other, everybody. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.